Thanks. Okay. Everyone can hear me? Yeah. Okay. These talks have been amazing, right? I think so. I think it makes us all really appreciative to be a part of this community and just go back to work and be super excited. So excited to get started. Okay, my name is Lilian Kravitz. Later in this talk, you're going to hear from my colleague, Ryan Cropp. We are both work on Microsoft Edge, and we specifically work on our privacy features. And we're really excited. This seems to be a huge theme going forward, and it's something to definitely talk about. Okay, let's get this clicker. Okay. So today, we're going to talk about a fresh perspective, set of challenges that we are facing today as browsers. We are going to touch upon customer research, privacy principles, our new privacy feature, as well as a little bit about the technical implementation, and then we'll talk about the future of online privacy. In the past, we used to put Microsoft at the center. We were solving problems with Microsoft at top of mind. But now we're solving problems through a different lens. We're putting the customer in the center. We've learned that we do not know all of the answers when it comes to the web. We also know that we are not solely responsible for the web. Developers and search engines, governments, advertisers and publishers, surfers of the web, and browsers, together we create the web. Together we create a massive industry and economy. We learned from our customers that our previous browser was not meeting their needs from a web compatibility perspective. It was also affecting web developers' ability to test on so many different platforms. So by putting the customer in the center, we learned that we need to realign our priorities. We made a new browser based off of Chromium. Putting the customer in the center also forces us to look at the browser and look at the web from a different perspective. While listening to customers and their modern technology problems, a signal we heard loud and clear is that privacy is a huge issue on the internet. We began as a team to look at the privacy space as researchers and learners, not experts. We went out to learn from customers about what privacy looks and feels like today. In 2019, there are a lot of proposals to improve privacy. There's proposals to improve do not track, change standards, limit fingerprinting, and rethink identity. And from a technical perspective, there's a lot to keep track of in terms of regulations on data collection and data use. If you think it's complicated in an audience full of web developers, just imagine what it's like for everyone simply trying to go online and get things done. So if you're going on the internet and you're just trying to plan a weekend trip, privacy isn't necessarily top of mind. But hacks and data breaches, compromised passwords, and GDPR cookie banners are scary for even the technically inclined. Before we get started too far into it, it's important to note that we've all learned from each other in the tech industry when it comes to online privacy. No one is necessarily right or wrong. Everyone is just on their own journey when it comes to privacy. And we're starting our journey from scratch. And that's what we did, and this is our story over the past year. We hope you can take something from it and apply it to your day-to-day. And because we're still learning, we would more than appreciate continuing the conversation with all of you afterwards. The web community is a diverse and dynamic set of customers, ranging from everyday cat video watchers, avid video gamers, web developers, and business entrepreneurs. We think it's important that all voices are heard to build the best web for everyone. We started this journey building a new browser by asking users a simple question. If you could change one thing about the web, what would it be? And I heard this conversation happening at this conference as well. And so when we asked our users, we got about 5,000 responses. And the number one response wasn't super interesting. It was speed and performance. Users still want a faster and more performant browsing experience, not surprising. So we should spend all of our time on this, right? The second largest piece of feedback, it was privacy and trust. Users are saying that they want privacy on the web. They want trust with their browser. But still, speed and performance was the #1 ask from users. Now, the third largest piece of feedback, that's where things got more interesting. It was advertisements. Also not super surprising, users are asking for less ads on the web. I think we've all heard this. But when you look through the comments and read all of them, you see that users are specifically asking for ads that don't track them. They're saying things like, I want less creepy ads. So therefore, if you put together the privacy and feedback items with the users that are asking for ads that don't track them, it becomes the #1 thing that users are asking for to change about the web. So users are telling us that they want privacy. They're saying, I want trust with the browser. And in their words, I think the #1 response was users literally just saying more privacy. This really caused us to realign and focus on what users are telling us. So after learning that privacy is top of mind, we went out and interviewed customers about how they manage their online privacy. We heard from users that they think most about their online privacy when creating a new account, reading about news about privacy and hacks and breaches, purchasing something on the internet, or seeing ads based on their previous browsing. And we heard from users that they try and help this, they try and fix their privacy. They go into the settings, but they get lost because there's too many and they're confusing. They download an extension because a friend told them to, but they don't know if it's actually working. Or they do nothing because users tell us that they feel helpless at this time of technology and online privacy. So after listening to dozens of users' modern privacy problems, our team started to quickly brainstorm and figure out how to solve these problems technically. We quickly realized that we were doing things out of order. We had to stop and take a step back and create a set of privacy principles that our team can stand by. We are calling our privacy principles our Hippocratic Oath. Doctors take a Hippocratic Oath to behold standards for their patients. So we developed a Hippocratic Oath that we as developers can behold for our users. We have a responsibility. I mean, all of us in this room have a responsibility as creators of the web. And it took us time to develop exactly what our responsibility is. This is not a simple technical problem. There is no clear answer to privacy. And we need to be cognizant of the fact that online privacy affects developers, publishers, and advertisers, as well as browsers. And it also affects users and their experience that they have on the web. The laws have not fully caught up to the degree of power that we have as developers. We therefore need to self-regulate, and at the end of the day, we need to do what is right for our users around the world. We developed 4 principles that we as a team can truly stand by, and they are control, transparency, respect, and protection. Control. We will put you in control of your data, and whether you want us to delete that data or use it to improve your experiences. Transparency. We will inform you when, where, and whom is collecting data. Respect. We will always respect you and your choice, and if you do not want us to collect any information. Protection. We will protect your personal information and prevent unauthorized access to it and never share it unless we inform you. So now with our new privacy principles and learnings from users, we went back to brainstorming how we can solve the problems that we heard. From the numerous customer interviews, surveys, group creation sessions, we identified a top problem that customers were facing. Users told us one of their biggest concerns was to stop sites unassociated with their browsing from collecting data about them. We dove into this more. What exactly does this mean? And what we heard was, I'm browsing for something on the internet, and then I see an ad for it immediately. I'm uncertain who is collecting data about me. I feel creeped out by the ads that are following me. I don't want my browsing being tracked. Selena mentioned this earlier, and it's quite interesting. So one of the most common stories that we heard in our interviews over and over again when just asking users about technology and privacy went something like this. My husband and I were having a conversation, and we just talked about diapers. And then I got ads for it immediately, and it feels creepy. We heard this type of story over and over again, and people were telling us like it's just happening to them and no one else. It's really indicating that there's an issue across multiple devices, technology, and apps. But along with this, there's another signal that we heard, and it was very loud. It's different from what we heard previously. Let's see if this clicker will go. Okay. It's that I like personalized ads. I discover new products due to ads. They remind me to purchase things. It makes the internet more personal to me. So we have this clear signal from users saying that they hate being tracked. But then from the same segment of customers, they tell us that they find the personalized content useful. So how can we solve a problem that is both a privacy concern, but then also a useful feature of browsing? We use the specific signals that we heard from our customers, our new privacy principles, to develop our own version of tracking prevention. And now Ryan is going to continue to talk about putting our solution into the browser.
Thanks. Thank you. All right, thank you, Lilian. So as we've discussed, we've heard a wide range of interests from our users about privacy. And we got the feeling that there wouldn't be one solution for privacy that would fit everyone, but probably a balanced approach with options could be the way forward. So given our privacy principles, let's look at tracking prevention as one of the first outputs of our research and an example of how we can build privacy-respecting user experiences for everyone. So there were a lot of ways that we could have gone about creating a solution for tracking prevention. Should we just give people one privacy toggle that enables every tracking prevention imaginable, like enabling a VPN, blocking third-party cookie access, blocking resource loads, ads, and randomizing browsing data, and then just saying you're protected? While it's certainly possible, there are problems. With one switch, there's little control. On and off doesn't give the granularity that people have asked us for, and it wouldn't be respectful of their individual needs. There's also no transparency on what's happening behind the scenes to help people get a better understanding with what's happening on the web. So instead of one solution for all problems, we decided that we were just going to start small and build one solution for tracking prevention inside the browser. So we know that online trackers are storing and collecting a lot of data about users as they browse the web. Users are seeing the effects of this tracking through personalized ads, but not really seeing the full picture because a lot of the times the data is collected without their knowledge behind the scenes. And while tracking prevention is not a new feature in the browser ecosystem, other browser vendors and extensions already restrict online trackers in certain sites in various ways. But because we aren't the first here, we're able to learn from our community of developers, browsers, and users to take a new look at how we could build tracking prevention that adheres to our privacy principles. So from our research, we knew this, that there was one group of people who just want maximum privacy. But we can't just block everything because that breaks the web. Monetization for publishers can't be upheld, and experiences like sign-in and social sharing stop working. But there's a segment of people who want this level of protection. A second group of people like seeing personalized ads, but don't mind being tracked so much. But we can't also do nothing because malicious tracking and data misuse is causing problems. But yet again, there are people who enjoy personalized experiences over generic content and ads. And then the last group we heard from, which was, let's see, advance again, clicker. There we go. And then the third and largest, the last group we heard from, thought it would be great if they didn't see so many creepy ads, and added that they like the way the web as it is, but they would like to know more about what's happening behind the scenes. So overall, people gave us very different feedback, but we had to design a solution that fits everyone, which is why we landed on giving people options and not a single checkbox. So for us, tracking prevention was designed with the principle that defaults matter. We'll respect your privacy, and most people will not even have to know that the setting exists or change it at all. This is because our implementation of tracking prevention protects you by default, with blocking in the background to automatically keep your privacy protected. And so we set out with the 3 different options to create tracking prevention. And what we have here is 3 different options that give the user control, with the middle selection where most people will fall and choices on both sides of the spectrum. We have 3 levels of basic tracking prevention, which are basic, balanced, and strict. So basic is for the person who wants the web to be personalized to them. Balanced is for most people who want the web to work as it does now, but with less creepiness. And strict is for the people who want more privacy at the cost of some web compatibility. So to understand how each setting works, I'll give a brief overview of trackers. In our first implementation, we used an open source list of known tracking domains. We're working with others to ensure that the source of the list is agnostic across companies, and we don't give any special treatment to an entity, including ourselves. We're also helping to update the tracker categorization to improve web compatibility for all consumers. And on that note, there are various types of trackers that are restricted differently depending on each setting. More malicious trackers that fingerprint your device or use your device's resources to mine cryptocurrency are blocked across all levels. No one should want these types of trackers in their browser. There are other types of trackers which can provide value to the web, such as advertising, social media, and analytic trackers that show up consistently across sites. But because these trackers are more nuanced in the way that people prefer their web experience, they're restricted differently across each setting. In basic, we block the most malicious trackers and allow all others. In balanced, which is the default setting, we'll block storage access for advertising and social media trackers, which means that people will still see ads, but they won't have the creepiness of ads and diapers following them around the internet. And in strict, we block resource and storage access from advertising, analytics, and social media trackers. And as many ad resources are also capable of tracking, this has an effect of possibly blocking some advertisers as well. And for developers who want to see the effects of how all of these enforcements play out, you can check out the Developer Tools console, where we list blocked resources and storage access, and also include the various different types of requests, whether it's from a script, iframe, or image. And to reiterate, we want the default experience to have no impact on web compatibility. So if you're using a new Edge browser and your site or another that you come across isn't working correctly, please send us a smile or a frown to let us know what's going on. We want your experience developing for Edge to be great for you and your users. So as we gather more feedback, we're continuing to update how tracking prevention works in the background as we strive to increase web compatibility and increase privacy. So after creating our first version of tracking prevention, we took a step back and looked back at our principles from our Hippocratic Oath to make sure that we lived up to our standards. We gave 3 options, which puts the user in control. We have a block trackers view that provides transparency into what tracking prevention is blocking. And we are respecting the user's choice and protecting them by default. So tracking prevention really only attempts to solve one problem that we learned from our users, and there are many more privacy problems out there that we can go ripe for new solutions. And our team is excited to keep learning from customers and to keep helping to move the web forward. On that note, Microsoft recently participated in the first web privacy workshop, where browser vendors met to discuss the tough topic of privacy. The 2-day discussion was a big step to come together as a group and to build mutual understanding and find a common ground so that we can collaborate in the open to preserve privacy on the web. Plenty of time was allocated to discuss some tough questions, such as the need to work together to find shared solutions for publishers, governments, monetization, and privacy. This was an incredible effort towards alignment and collaboration for the future of the web. In those talks, all browser vendors shared proposals for improving privacy online, including policies and protections from Safari, Brave, Firefox, Chrome, Samsung, and more. We proposed the tracker auditing program as a means of identifying trackers that are meeting privacy standards of transparency, control, and respect. This could help preserve the economic business of advertising while giving users the respect and privacy that they deserve. One of the biggest outcomes of this privacy workshop was the initial planning for the creation of a privacy community group within the W3C, and discussions began at TPAC just 2 weeks ago. This effort will allow all participants to collaborate on a vision for the future of privacy on the web. And overall, this is a new and continuing effort, and it's awesome to see everyone here discussing privacy as well. And we're really looking forward to more progress on this in the future. So what does the future of privacy look like? Is it just that there will be no privacy, such that a segment of users are okay with giving up their privacy in return for free services? Will you have to pay for privacy, such that your privacy is only protected if you're willing to pay for it? Will you be paid for your data, such that you are paid for letting your data be collected? Or will you have to specify what data is being collected about you? Overall, there's a lot of tough questions we have to go out and solve, and it's ripe for solutions that we are continuing to look for and excited to keep exploring. So when we went out and asked our customers, if you could have a magic wand and change one thing about privacy online, what would it be? We heard privacy at the click of a button, or 3 levels of privacy online, like low, medium, and high, or regulations on how companies are using your data, or even transparency on the type of data that's collected. These are genuine and basic asks. Users aren't really asking for anything complicated or revolutionary. It's just basic needs. What they're asking for is transparency on what's being collected, how to control and manage their data. And so maybe it's just time for us to be respectful and honest with users and to simply protect them. So that's where we are with our privacy journey. Privacy is a forever changing landscape full of problems that we need to go out and solve through technical solutions, regulations, web standards, and best practices. The problems that exist today won't necessarily exist in 5 years, meaning that there will always be new privacy problems to explore. It's our shared responsibility as browser vendors and developers to keep asking questions, keep users' privacy as a top priority, and to keep listening. We must continue the loop of researching, identifying problems, solving those problems, and then iterating again. Because privacy is a humbling space where there's not always a straight answer. It requires a balance with our customers top of mind. So, as you can probably tell, we are super interested in learning from customers, and that includes developers. We'd like to continue the conversation with all of you about the privacy problems that you'd face. And if you'd like to reach out to us, we're available on social media, and you can come talk with us after. We've already had some great conversations with some of you. So thanks to Lilian, the Microsoft Edge team, and everyone who helped create this mission to advance privacy on the web. Thank you.